Hello and welcome to Middle Class Film Class Podcast. I am Joseph.
I'm Peter.
I'm Tyler.
And this week, the Wheel of Destiny landed on Annihilation. But because of controversy, we didn't want to do a three-peat. You know what I'm saying?
Wow, that's nice.
We respawned, and the Wheel of Destiny landed on my pick, which was Neil Breen's Double Down.
My name is Aaron Brand. I always thought I was doing the right thing in preparing for life. I was the first in my class in college in computer science. I don't need much to live on anymore. I just eat tuna out of the can and live in the car. I control access to anything and everything, even from my little simple, brilliant setup. My orders from another country are to shut down the Las Vegas Strip.
Marriage is over. Get out.
So many questions. I'm so confused.
I'm an American. I love this country.
So this movie was quite the adventure. Not exactly sure what we're going to say about it, but first let's talk about some streaming picks. You guys got any streaming picks? Let's go with Pete first.
Yeah, I got one for this week. This is streaming on Netflix. This is a documentary on a race car driver called Senna. Senna. Yeah. It's Ayrton Senna is the subject of this documentary. And it's the interesting thing about this doc is that it's made completely of archival news footage and like ESPN type footage of the era. So I want to say this was set in 90s, maybe late 80s, early 90s.
It was definitely in the 80s.
Okay.
It was in the 80s, yeah.
Yeah, I watched this quite a while ago, probably a few years ago, and it was pretty interesting enough to stick with me. If you're into cars at all, into racing particularly, it's a great doc. I'm into cars, but I'm not into racing. I've never been a fan of NASCAR, F1 series, any of that kind of stuff, but it still definitely piqued my interest watching it. It's really well done. It's a kind of a character in a world that you may not really know of, but he's kind of like the Michael Jordan of racing, I think, for some F1 fans. Really notable, or Muhammad Ali, really notable character that people could pick out of a crowd. But for everyone else, if you're not in that world, the name means nothing to you. So he, spoiler alerts on a documentary that they talk about his death right from the beginning. But this movie ends with his final ultimate demise, and it's the documentary about the rise and fall, and so on and so forth. So pretty good movie, Senna on Netflix.
All right. Tyler?
My streaming pick is the Breaking Bad movie El Camino. Follows the story of Jesse Pinkman after he escapes from the white supremacist compound. I've never hated and loved this movie simultaneously more than this one. It was a very well done movie. I'm not going to really get into spoilers about it. I just recommend that you watch it, and you may come to the same conclusion as me, where you're like, I love this movie, but I hate it.
Since it's after the compound, is that safe to say you don't really see a whole lot of Walter?
Well, the thing is, it's just there's flashbacks. There's flashbacks to his time in the compound, but mostly it's just about what happens after the series finale episode. So I think I love this movie. Don't get me wrong, I love this movie, but I also hate this movie.
Can you give us more on why you hate it? Is it just frustrating?
So without giving spoilers away about this movie, the reason why I hate this movie is because I don't think it ever should have been made.
Oh.
There is no reason why this movie should have been made, and it added nothing to the story. And
but you loved
it. It was done in the most beautiful way possible, though. So it's like,
all that being said,
yeah. So I recommend, if you love Breaking Bad, you will find this movie interesting.
If you're a fan of Breaking Bad and you just want to go back into that world, then this movie does that for you.
Did you see it too, Joseph?
Yeah, we watched it.
Tyler, how did it compare to the end of Evangelion?
Well, I
How did it, for a recap on the series?
okay, so definitely better than the end of Evangelion. I'm just gonna put that out there. As much as I love that movie,
Bold.
as much as I love that movie, this movie was significantly better than the end of Evangelion. I don't know what to say. It's just it's so good. I was so enthralled. Because I love the universe of Breaking Bad. It's very normal lifey. You know what I mean? Like it's like a very dramatic story in a normal life setting that you and I could experience. So, yeah, I would recommend El Camino so that you may. It's a good discussion movie.
I don't think anyone who took this time to dedicate their lives to finishing that series is probably not going to look at this and go, "Yeah, I'll pass."
Yeah,
Yes.
no.
Probably an
no
instant
way.
watch for any Breaking Bad fan, anyway.
It's definitely a fan servicey movie.
So just El Camino for you, Tyler.
Yeah, just El Camino. I mean, it's only for Breaking Bad fans though. If you have not seen Breaking Bad, I would not recommend El Camino because, I mean, it's entertaining, but to be more impactful, you need to know what is going on more.
Mm-hmm.
So
Alright.
yeah,
Cool.
just El Camino.
All right, so my stream pick for this week is, since we are in the spooky season, this one is a little bit more. It is a scary movie, but it's more of like a Mad Max meets zombies kind of movie. My pick is Train to Busan, a
Ooh.
Korean horror movie about a father and his daughter taking a train from Seoul to Busan, and then the apocalypse sort of begins as their journey to Busan begins. And have you ever? Pete, have you seen this?
Yeah, I watched it with Bree. She's into anything Korean and in horror movies, so
Yeah.
We watched it, and it's pretty intense. It's pretty well made.
Mm-hmm.
If you compare it to American film standards, it holds up for sure.
Yeah.
There's some zombie movie tropes that it kind of subverts a little bit, which is good.
Yeah.
It's a couple situations you're like, oh, I didn't see that coming.
And definitely claustrophobic because they are on a train, and
Yeah.
the zombies are. It just the virus spreads in the train cars, and then they just keep moving to different train cars as more people get infected, and it just becomes very anxiety-inducing. But yeah, I recommend Train to Busan if you're into zombie horror mixed with kind of like adrenaline pumping chase sequences. And
Where's it streaming at?
this is on Netflix.
Oh, okay.
All right, so you guys ready to get into Double Down?
Oh boy.
Oh,
Double down it.
So
All
should we
right.
address the availability of this movie?
yeah. So this movie really isn't available anywhere. I mean, it's a rarity, which this movie does not deserve the title of being rare.
It doesn't have the clout to be able to have that kind of title, but it absolutely does. It's like a it's like a terrible Pokemon card that's hard to get.
But you want it because it's so rare.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a Magikarp, but it's a shiny Magikarp.
Yeah. So I mean, I don't know. I really don't know how to start talking about this movie other than that it's bananas. It's all over the place. 90% of the movie is narration from Neil Breen. I'll just give
one long monologue.
Yeah, I'll just give a quick plot synopsis real quick to start off. A brilliant computer loner seizes Las Vegas and its terrorist attack while fighting against his fits of clinical depression and obsession for romance and death. It was directed by Neil Breen, written by Neil Breen. It stars Neil Breen. Yeah, it's the Neil Breen show.
So what I noticed about this movie is when I was looking it up on the internet was that there was different plot synopsises depending on where you were. So on an Amazon plot synopsis, it was saying that there's a supernatural aspect, like he was a supernatural hacker.
Yeah.
There's no one knows what this movie is about.
Yeah, it's there was elements of everything. I feel like there's a whole bunch of ideas that he was trying to throw into this one smorgasbord of a movie, and
I don't even know if it was really any cohesive ideas in the movie though.
No.
It's like a series of vignettes that this guy Neil Breen saw done well in other movies, in like actual Hollywood movies, and decided to take those and make his character say those things, but without any of the exposition leading up to it for it to make any sense.
Yeah.
So there's a unlimited amount of scenes where his ghost of his dead fiance would pop on the screen and just say something like, "Forgive me."
Yeah.
You're like, she didn't do anything.
Very vague, and kind of, I don't know, heavy-handed and just like empty statements and lines in this movie that was like, who? Like,
Yeah.
who are we talking about?
And I gotta so the movie image that when you Google "Double Down" by Neil Breen, on the image it says "the winner ... dangerously controversial," and then it'll say 4 stars, stunning, desperation. It's just like desperation. Yeah, it seems.
Movie is desperate.
Well, they I know on his website fatefulfindings.biz. Fateful Findings was another DVD or movie released by Neil Breen, and every one of his movies that he releases has its own like website, which is the legit place where you can buy the DVD online, and it says,
Oh my god.
shipping to USA and internationally. Please allow 3 to 4 weeks for delivery, because each one apparently is pressed on demand.
Yeah, he's got to author that DVD menu. He's got to burn all the burn the discs.
He's got to call Hank, his DVD guy, and drop ship it out from his house.
He's got to borrow a Blu-ray burner.
Yeah. I know this is never going to make Blu-ray. but it's funny because
it would just be shipped in a blue case, but not actually a Blu-ray.
it's a blue DVD case burned by a guy named Ray. No, it's so on his site it says, one of the top headers is, "This is the only legally authorized site for the sale of Fateful Findings DVD. There are no other authorized distribution platforms for Fateful Findings anywhere." And there was an almost identical site that looked like it was made from 1992 for Double Down as well.
Yeah.
And I think it's something like $30 to buy it.
Fuck.
But at the so there's the meat and potatoes on this website, and if you scroll down enough, you get to these quotes, which I thought that's what you were reading, Tyler, earlier. And they're random quotes from people that are not. It doesn't credit who the person was that said these quotes, but they're from all over these weird festivals that he puts his movies in. Kevin Koplowski. Oh, this one's actually credited. Kevin Koplowski, Toronto After Dark, 2014 says, "Maybe the best cine thing you see all year. A worthy cult classic in the making." Which, if the criteria for making a cult classic is a movie that you can laugh heartily at how terrible it is, then I guess I don't know anything cultish about this movie. Or about Double Down, that is.
So, the beginning of this movie starts off with like a Tom Cruise Mission Impossible intro, where he's kind of rock climbing, but he's just kind of scurrying down a rock face.
Rock scurrying.
And I don't even really think that was supposed to be like a part of the movie. I think that was just him like, oh, I really like this little piece of land right here, and he's just like scurrying down, and they just decided to film him.
It was a long ass intro. There's a lot of shots of just deserts and rocks, and I mean, I assume they filmed in the desert because they didn't have to pay for the location, and it was just free reign to shoot whatever they want.
Plus he thought, I think that he actually thinks that he looks badass running down those rocky cliff sides.
I bet he probably felt badass. Like he was just like, I'm doing all those obstacles over these rocks. Just like these little bunny hops.
Yeah.
Well, you guys ever heard of body dysmorphia?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, so for those who don't know, body dysmorphia is a condition in which a person sees themselves as super fat when they're really not, or vice versa, or they think that they're ultra skinny, supermodel body type when they're really overweight. Mm-hmm. So I think Neil Breen has body dysmorphia for his movies. So
okay.
He looks at it and he says, "This looks great. That was the one. We're gonna stick with that cut." So when you talk about climbing down the cliffs and looking at a badass, I guarantee he absolutely watched the playback on that and was like, yes, exactly what I wanted.
Don't I look like Tom Cruise? Tell me I don't look like Tom Cruise.
How's my black tank top look tucked into my jeans that are pulled up past my belly button?
Yeah.
You know, the person's like, it's your money, Neil.
I mean,
yeah.
What am I gonna say? Am I gonna say he looks bad?
Yeah, I guess.
Just shatter his entire ego.
So one of the things that stuck out to me was its movie was made in 2005. It looks kind of like it was made in 1995 or older.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I noticed that too. Like it definitely looks like a daytime sci-fi channel movie.
Well, it looks like he bought the video, the camera that they used to shoot this from, like a thrift store.
Yeah.
And at the time, he's like, "Man, mini DV? Are you kidding me? We're in the big leagues now."
Holy shit! Yeah.
Everything's coming up, Neil. Was this film, Joseph?
I don't know. I'm looking.
It says Fuji, right?
It said in the credits. It
Oh,
did say
yeah,
like
it
Fuji film. I'm looking at the tech specs on IMDb, and the camera says there are reflex cameras and lenses, 35 millimeter. So it might have been the negative format was 35 millimeter. Could have been film. That's all. I mean, that would have put the budget of the movie. I don't even know if the budget is on.
No.
It's not.
It's self-financed. If you read Neil's IMDb page, he says that he was a former real estate agent, and like I think had something to do with like IT work, which is.
Just imagining Neil Breen selling you a home. Are you a patriot? Are you an American?
I'm an American. I'm an American. I love this country. My country.
Oh man.
There's one of those dramatic monologues that we were talking about earlier.
Yeah.
Let's talk about. So this is the first of Neil Breen's filmography, first feature film.
Oh, this was the first one?
This was the first one. This is what started the Neil Breen journey for Neil Breen. And his most recent was made, I think, like last year or this year. The Twisted Pair. He's made... So in total, he's made 5 movies.
Twisted Pair, not testicles.
Yeah.
I think it is testicles.
In total, he's made 5 movies. Twisted Pair being the most recent, which was in 2018. Movie before that was called Pass Through, 2016. Then it was Fateful Findings in 2013, which is far superior compared to Double Down, in my opinion.
Fateful Findings was a gem compared to this movie.
Yeah. A movie before Fateful Findings is called I Am Here, ... now. and then Double Down.
I think so. First off, the footage is so rough that of the actual like shots of the movie that he cuts back and forth. So I digress. The entire first like 25 minutes of the movie is like a monologue of him setting up exposition about his character that never pays off.
Yeah.
He talks about his pedigree in the military and how he's a world-class hacker and he can
how he's won medals, not earned them.
Yeah, he's won many medals, many achievements over the years from the Air Force or whatever the hell he's at.
His time in the service.
Yeah, his time in the service. So, but every time they cut away, they'll do like a couple shots of him like parkouring through the desert, and then finding a laptop that he hid there, months earlier supposedly.
Yeah.
But they'll cut away to these like B-roll shots of all kinds of stuff. So I made a list of all the B-roll shots that he cut to.
The stock footage?
All stock footage, yeah.
Yes.
The Hoover Dam, a long helicopter shot for probably about 60 seconds.
Yeah, I remember that.
60-second helicopter, 360 shot of the Hoover Dam. Birds taking off on a African plane. A close-up of an active volcano, and then hot springs to follow right afterwards. Various control rooms with no cohesive rhyme or reason as to where those are or how they pertain to the story
or what they're doing.
What they're doing in the control room. Kids playing on a playground, which you find out later is supposed to be like young versions of Neil Breen and his love. Although you don't explain that at first, and it's just like Neil creepy with a 35mm camera videotaping kids playing at the park. Airspace construction facilities, extreme close-ups of bald eagle faces. A homeless guy in a city feeding pigeons. These are all these are just like cut scenes back and forth, like little story, cut to the homeless guy feeding a pigeon.
Yeah, and all this is supposed to take place in Las Vegas.
Yeah.
And a lot of that, the guy with this feeding the pigeons is definitely not in Las Vegas.
So the best part about all these little intercut little cut scenes and B-roll is that there's one that the quality of the video goes up every time it goes to a cutscene. It goes from this crappy grainy video that Neil's shooting, and then it goes to a stock footage of a Las Vegas strip club, or not strip club, but like a club on the strip where people are dancing and having a good time, and it's clearly shot for some tourist visit Las Vegas
promotional video.
Yeah, it's a promo video. He just took it and put it in for his movie.
And cropped out the logos and the
all the bugs are gone. But there was one cutscene that was actually a CGI trolley, like a monorail proposal video that someone made for the city of Las Vegas. Like, here, put this trolley in, or the city of Toronto.
It's a render.
Yeah, it's a rendering, CGI rendering of a trolley going through a city, and you're like, that's not even a cutscene. He's just finding any B-roll he can get his hands on that he doesn't have to pay anything for, just throw in as edits.
Yeah. Maybe he just bought like a bulk pack of them, and he was like, okay, now I can make a movie.
Yeah, he just bought a VHS tape full of random stock footage, or royalty-free footage that he can use for whatever. It's so funny that you call them cut scenes. Because it's like it's a PS1 video game.
That's how they feel though. Like if you those cutaways feel like cutscenes.
Yeah. Now to the real part of our movie.
Not to the gameplay. We could talk about the amount of laptops and cell phones and cans of tuna, his lifestyle, basically talking about the way he lives.
It was really jarring to see Neil Breen like savagely eating tuna cans straight from the can, while he's driving. One thing about this movie that I thought was really funny is that I always thought some of these scenes weren't supposed to be in the movie. It was just people just filming Neil Breen's everyday life. And so he lives in a car eating cans of tuna in the desert.
Yeah.
I think in some old kind of action movies, there was always a character, like the main character you'd sympathize with had some sort of weird quirk. Like either they were obsessed with chewing bubble gum, or they sucked on suckers, lollipops. I can't remember what show that was, but one of the main detective or whatever was suck on lollipops. I think that Neil thought that his character needed some sort of like hook like that, so he's like, I know, he'll eat tuna,
like cans of
out of the can in his car, which is the most bananas way to deliver a line ever. And he's just got done talking about how, in his little monologue about himself, about how he's a trained killer and he's a killer for hire, although he loves his country, but he'll literally shut down Las Vegas and kill hundreds of thousands of people just because another country was paying him to do it, which is weird that he's can still consider himself a patriot when he does that. But so he's talking about that, and then instantly he cuts to him driving with tuna spilling all over his chest, eating at the wheel while it's driving, and he says, I don't need much to survive anymore. I just eat tuna out of the can in my car.
It was hard to really understand like what direction he was going in, like with why, like, I agree, like it's supposed to be like his like hook thing, but that's so like in your head sort of like idea that there's no way that like no one would be like, oh yeah, cans of tuna, like that's
plus
gonna get
plus
him.
It's definitely everywhere inside his car, and he lives in the desert. Full in a Mercedes full of tuna, and he's supposed to be supposed to be some sort of a sex symbol.
I know. Oh man. The scene with him and his fiance girlfriend in the pool.
Oh
yeah. Somehow we limp away to the second act where we find out like why he is the way he is, and it goes to the past of him being naked with his wife in his pool.
Yep.
And
he loves to show his own butt too.
Yeah, he gets shot, or no, she gets shot. And then one of the funniest scenes ever is him floating with his dead wife's body, like in solidarity.
Yeah, it's like he didn't even get shot. He's just like, I'm just gonna float with my wife's or fiance's body next to her.
Oh yeah, it was a fiance. He was gonna propose to her.
He proposed to her in the naked pool.
Yeah, and then show everybody my taint in the back of my balls.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
Yeah, it was really graphic.
It was. Yeah, I think every shot that looks like they linger on for a little bit too long, like that, like he was floating next to her with both their butts up, showing the camera. Yeah, butts clenched. I think that was supposed to be like his attempt at like a artsy, saying that like, oh, she's dead now, might as well die too. My life is over.
I am dead now.
I am dead. Yeah, but I don't know. It's just swing and a miss.
What was that? What was going through his mind when they were shooting that scene? Like this scene is very pivotal.
Yeah,
very very emotional.
This explains everything. I think that
explains everything and nothing at the same time.
I think that Neil's kink is watching his fiance get killed in front of him, because his reaction to her getting shot is to clench her body tight and act like he's orgasming. Then he tosses her body aside to caress a flower instead of the body of his dead fiance. He sees a flower with blood on it. He's like,
yeah, that's like one of the. That's like one of the screenshots from the movie on the IMDb page is him clutching that flower with his bloody hands.
It's like,
and he's like,
your fiance's dead right next to you, dude.
She is a flower.
Okay, now we get it. Okay.
Yeah. One of the more confusing parts of this movie was the fact that the narration audio quality and like the obviously mic'd in audio for when they couldn't get it on scene was the same. So you never knew, like, if he was narrating or
Or his
if
character
he
was
was
talking.
actually, if he was actually talking to another character or to himself, like in the present.
Yeah.
You
It
can't
was
really
very
tell.
not clear.
You can't really tell if he's talking to another character when the camera's facing him and his lips are moving, though, because he's
There was
seldom facing a character when he's talking.
there was so many technically wrong things in this movie. I mean, there's no point in going into them because it's just the list is too long.
Yeah, you could do a scene by scene breakdown of how terribly blocked
Yeah.
everything is.
Every single dialogue between two people, at least I don't know about every single one, but a lot of them, it was shot from the ground up, and it was just a blue sky as the background. Just because they didn't want us to know that they were shooting in a Costco parking lot.
And then Costco got shut down, so they had to move to Wendy's.
Yeah. And that's where he bought his cans of tuna.
Yeah, really. I
There's a specific line he says within the second act where he says, "I deal with high technology and low technology," and like that really stuck out with me because what
That
is
rings
high
true.
technology? Like, what is
What's
high
a-
technology?
What's
and
low technology?
Like, one of the things that interests me about Neil Breen is the creative direction he goes in a lot of the scenes of this movie, because you have to wonder, like, what frame of mind you have to be in to write the line high technology and low technology.
mean,
like
I've
high
heard
art,
of something
low
being
art.
low tech, but I've never heard of low technology.
Yeah.
I mean,
was-
you hear the phrase "it's high tech." Oh, it's low tech.
Yeah,
It's just the finishing of the
Oh,
word.
so
I deal with low technology too.
it's like saying Jimothy. High technology instead of high. That's high tech, dude.
I mean, high technology, I guess, would be equipment at NASA, and then low technology would be like our cell phones.
One of the 12 cell phones he has.
Yeah, yeah.
High-
His laptops.
High technology is vape pens. Low technology is computers, because that's for science.
High technology is the toothbrush that plays music while you brush your teeth.
Yeah.
So I have a couple notes I was going to go through.
Okay. All right. Go ahead.
So normally I'll take notes and kind of be able to group them together in cohesive thoughts, but this movie has none of that. So I'm just going to go through some random notes that I had to get the audience a feel for what this movie's about. Neil's basically a homeless person that sleeps in the desert and eats tuna straight from a can. I think you can if you watch this movie, interpret it that he's actually just a delusional homeless person, and all these people that he kills are just in his mind. It gets really sad.
Yeah.
But he writes himself to be like a Jesus-like character, because he puts the piece of hematite in his hand, or pyrite in his hand,
Yeah.
and tries to heal his friend's
Fool's
partner's
gold.
daughter's brain cancer.
Mhm.
I totally forgot pyrite was like his magical stone.
His magical stone.
There's multiple close-ups of hands in supposed slow motion, reaching into frame and out of frame slowly. Like they wanted a slow motion shot because Neil saw that in a movie one time, but they didn't have the technology to do slow-mo in the editing.
They had low tech.
Yeah, they had low tech, so they just slowly put their hands into screen with white gloves on, and then would hand off the vial or whatever it was, and then pause for a second with their hands on screen, and then slowly take their hands out of screen. There was at least 3 shots like that.
It's really hard to go through this movie in a chronological order because of the way it was edited. It was edited in a way where it didn't let you know when it was a flashback or a flash forward. So you're constantly wondering which time frame you're in. So you said after I noticed he said high technology and low technology, the scene where the old guy falls on his head.
Oh, yeah.
And Neil goes
Old man
to
he
save
finds in the
him.
desert. Yeah.
Yeah, he said he was drawn to him.
I
He
was
was
drawn
drawn-
to him.
I was drawn to this injured old man, and it's just like he has those standout scenes throughout the movie, which like it's like they're funny when it's just like no context, but watching like a whole almost 2-hour movie with this, it was a little bit. It was grueling to watch.
That homeless person he found was actually the only real thing that had happened in this movie. The rest of it was a delusion. That was just his ride or die that he saw fall off the rock.
Yeah, that old man was actually like he was actually already out there in the desert.
Yeah,
And he just
he
incorporated
was
into the
living out
story.
there.
He's the character or the person that this movie is based on.
Oh shit. There were flashback scenes that happened from 90 seconds earlier in the movie. They have a scene and they do have a flashback to that scene about a minute and a half of screen time later, just in case you forgot that it just happened.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, they do like a montage of things that just happened.
Every time he sits down at one of his laptops, he never types more than like 5 or 6 characters at a time before moving to the next laptop.
And he's always staring at the satellite,
Yeah.
waiting for something to happen with the satellite too.
Types everything on the keyboard, look at the satellite, just wait for it to go. Bzzz.
Yeah, I interpreted it as he was like he was getting information from the satellite, like he was like trying to like read the satellite and then he was typing in information.
Yeah, like he was trying to getting information out of the satellite.
Yeah, even though
like
the
he
satellite
was telepathically speaking.
Yeah.
Oh shit,
Yeah.
he's a better hacker than we ever knew.
Yeah, because he has supposed superpowers or something.
Yeah, it's implied that he has supernatural powers, but it's never really explored.
A supernatural hacker.
A supernatural hacker.
Supernatural hack.
I have some questions. What's
Okay.
up with the green body bag? That's never explained.
Oh,
It
the one
keeps-
that's
Yeah, it keeps popping like after his wife is killed, he sees this green body bag, and every time he checks in it, she's in various stages of decay. But there, it's like, it's not any like scary gore. It's a dollar store skeleton decoration for Halloween.
The problem I had with it though too was it didn't even follow the stages of decay. Like sometimes, like in like I think the second or third scene of showing the body bag, it was like a sun bleached skeleton. But then, like near the end of the movie, it was like she was never decaying. It was very all over the place.
Well, you never find out anything about that. You never find out how he is able to so quickly bury that old man in the desert with a tiny pile of rocks. Like he used his mind powers again to get this guy underground and then stacked like 12 rocks on top of him.
It's gotta hide that body somehow.
Which wasn't even the right size.
No, and it's
like it was just a smaller pile of rocks that didn't. It was like he was burying a child. Like,
there's one character that you only see for 3 shots that are about a second and a half each. She's not explained who she is. She's videotaping the interaction between him and one of the government agents.
Oh yeah.
From the car, and then she's killed, and then you never hear from her again. Completely unnecessary character. You never see them. Not explained what they are, who they're filming. She's killed.
I think Neil's direction was supposed to be like, "Oh, I'm being hunted everywhere at any time. Doesn't matter." I think says that at one point. Like,
I would argue that Neil Breen is the best actor in the movie.
Yeah, surprisingly,
I
like
know, he actually is. Yeah.
Because he has the most passion. He's the only one who has the passion, and you could see it in his performance. Because there's that scene with that guy who with like the long kind of blonde hair, kind of like a chubby dude, kind of looks like a kid, like an
adult baby.
Adult baby. Where he's like, you're a killer, the best. But you know that. Yeah. Just like the way he did that was so low effort. Like he didn't care about the project.
It's acting 101 is stop after every line.
The monologue between the director of the FBI, the senator, doesn't say which state or what from where. It's just the senator.
Yeah, and the mayor.
In the mayor, yeah. The mayor.
This is going to change everything. This is going to change everything.
I agree with Joseph, though, or that Neil Breen was the best actor in this movie, though, because they definitely, they were just reading lines. Just for the sake of reading lines. It was just like a paycheck to them. And it's kind of unfortunate because you can tell that Neil wanted this movie to be like a artistic statement.
Yeah, but if you got this script and you're an actor, what the fuck would you do? First question, what's my motivation? You're in the desert, read the line.
Yeah, true. He could be he could have been a
director.
dickhole about it.
Yeah. He's a great actor, bad director.
I wrote down that he's the worst killer. He kills the wrong couple. When he picks, he steals that Rolls Royce. Somehow convinces someone that he's their limo driver. Kills the wrong couple.
He hacks the car with a flip phone. That's what happens.
No, that was the Ferrari.
Oh, okay.
No, that's another scene.
Ferrari.
No, he kills the bride and groom who just started their life together. The groom was a better actor than Neil because he actually helped getting into the trunk of the car even though he's dead. He's like climbing, pulling himself with his body in the car.
He's supposed to be dead weight, and he's like,
he's like helping himself in. And then once he drops them off, once he realizes, what do you mean I killed the wrong couple? then you cut to the bride and groom laying on the desert floor, and the groom's dead, but the bride's awake but can't move. Mm-hmm. Can't even kill the two of them. He's probably actually just schizophrenic, sociopath, homeless person. I wrote that again.
It was his attempt at humor. He was like, "Oh, it'd be funny if I killed the wrong couple."
If me, the best killer in the world, killed the wrong couple. Because that's something that would be in like a funny hitman movie.
Yeah,
you know, it's like, what do you mean I killed the wrong person?
I wrote down also that every line is meant to be very impactful, but is delivered like he's telling like a whimsical story to a friend at work. None of it's delivered very impactfully.
Yeah, just
seems like he practiced too much in front of the mirror, and so like it's like him saying it is just like a muscle reaction now instead of like a passionate line.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
because that's what it sounded like. Like every line he said sounded really too well rehearsed to the point where he's just saying it for the sake of saying it.
It's just to get through the scene.
Yeah.
If we can just get through the scene, guys, I promise you, we're gonna be in no time gonna have this fantastic movie.
One of my favorite scenes in this movie too was when he was explaining his career to that random stranger family that he was having dinner with.
Oh yeah.
But he's explaining it as a we though. Everything that we do, like almost like they were also killers. Or
yeah.
That's I didn't catch on to that.
Yeah. The public doesn't know what we do. They think that all we do is just get caught up in gun fights and chase scenes. No.
No.
Yeah. No. And then he gives the best reaction to a child with brain cancer.
Yeah, and then we are supposed to assume that he is like Jesus.
Yeah,
and he heals her, but we never find out.
Puts a piece of pie right on her head.
Yeah. There's a lot of aggressive attempts at symbolism, but I don't think anything really quite landed. So
all surface level, all pieces of whole ideas that didn't really like work together at all, and I was confused and depressed by the end of the movie.
It was fun to watch this together, all three of us, just because I feel like I might be I might maybe be getting pranked if I was watching this by myself and like, Joseph really wants me to watch this. Okay.
I recommend this movie.
All right, I guess I'll do it. I guess I'm probably going to be the only one, and they're just going to be like, can't believe you actually watched that whole thing? 2 hours worth?
Yeah.
It was a joke.
I feel bad for Neil, though, because I feel like the reason why it was edited so poorly was because, one, no one wanted to work with him, and two, he went over budget. It seemed like this movie was over budgeted.
Well, he edited
Probably.
it too. He was. The entire credit scene was written by Neil Breen, edited by Neil Breen. Snacks and catering by Neil Breen.
Lighting, none.
Yeah, hair and lighting.
Hair and makeup,
no.
none. He was the musical director. He was the casting department.
He definitely had a casting couch situation going on there.
Oh god.
Yeah, Neil Breen, I've heard that he's a big fan of being naked in his movies, so this...
Yep.
So,
Yeah, it comes back in Fateful Findings.
First question he asked the fiancée actress was, how do you feel about male nudity?
and he just asked that question like 7 other times until he found like the actress.
The actress who was willing to do it.
Do you speak English? Yes. How do you feel about male nudity?
Okay.
Pretty comfortable? Okay, cool. You're in.
You ever acted before? No.
Do you by chance know of any children that vaguely look like you can record?
I mean, I wonder how many people actually knew Neil Breen in real life while making this movie, because since this was his first movie, he had to have had a support group or something, to help him make this thing.
Yeah, his nephew lent him his Jeep. So the green Jeep.
I'm surprised that he didn't shoot this movie himself.
Most of the scenes he's in it though.
Yeah, he can still do it.
Yeah, it's true.
You could be the DP and be in a movie.
All I know is it was a one of a kind movie I won't forget, but I already forgot about.
Yeah.
I forgot a lot about this movie. It pales in comparison to Fateful Findings. I have to say, I am disappointed in the world of Neil Breen movies. This is not up to par, in my opinion.
It was a disappointing movie because it had all of the qualities to be funny throughout the whole movie, but it also it was definitely lacking, and it was a shame. But there was really funny scenes in this movie as well, though, that were pretty unforgettable. One of them being him yelling he's confused and depressed.
Or casually mentioning it to the no one who's listening.
I'm confused and depressed.
Oh, every day.
And it's like that wasn't meant to be
I've
filmed.
been so confused and depressed. Yeah, exactly. Another scene. Cameras having me rolling and they're picking up gold.
Yeah, I agree with Joseph that I was expecting the movie to be a bit more funnier. It was pretty hard to watch at times because nothing happens in some of the scenes. Literally, he's just sitting there,
Yeah.
This movie could have been 25 minutes long if they cut out all the unnecessary scenes.
Yeah.
And the B-roll.
Yeah, I have to, kind of got to give him a pass. I know it's his first movie. Your first movie's never that good.
True.
How many feature-length movies have you made?
I've made 0 feature-length movies.
Me neither. Neil's got he's 5 up on us.
I'm sure it gets better and better. Fateful Findings is leagues better than this.
Twisted Pair, can't wait.
Yeah, we're converting this into the Neil Breen show.
Neil Breen hour.
What's he working on now? Let's see. Does he have any upcoming projects? No.
That's weird. He's remaking Shawshank Redemption.
Oh,
That was interesting.
I don't see anything that he's working on now.
He's living off of his fame.
Yeah.
You could, yeah. I wonder, if he's gonna pull like he's gonna drop a mixtape, like Drake, and just surprise everybody.
I heard
just surprise us with the whole last movie.
I heard his Shawshank remake. Andy Dufresne is really obsessed with shrimp. The kitchen staff has like a secret method of transporting shrimp to his cell.
Well, Twisted Pair looks like was his last movie, so that was in 2018 as well. So he might have something up his sleeves.
How do you rate a movie like this? How do you even?
That's what I asked in the beginning.
Oh, I know. But I mean, is it if it was up to me, I'd say 1 star. But at the same time, like I enjoyed watching it with you guys.
Well, since this is a funny bad movie, like it would be rated based on your entertainment and stuff. Like,
yeah,
I don't know about that. I'm changing my voting. Half star.
Half star.
Half star. Yeah.
We can't do 0 out of 5, right? Can we do 0 out of 5?
Do whatever you want.
I mean, because 1, if it's between 1 and 5, then 1 is the lowest you can go.
Okay, fine.
So that would be like basically.
We
kinda
can go
0.
deeper.
I'm giving this -1 star.
I'm going further. I'm doing a -5 to 5
-5
rating
to 5,
scale.
and it
I'll give it
balances out.
okay. Final rating 1.5 out of 5.
1.5.
1.5 stars. The half stars for the enjoyment that you get if you have friends to watch this with and laugh about
And
it.
you can drink a little before.
Yeah.
Or you
I can
have
do that.
drinking before. Yeah. I guess we could rate this in the world of. Maybe we can rate it in the world of Neil Breen movies as well. I mean, we haven't seen all of them, so I don't know if that's fair.
Yeah, that's gonna be my journey.
I think my journey. Next week's streaming pick, double down.
I watched
Stable Findings.
I watched all of Neil Breen's movies. That was basically like my own personal Vietnam.
All right, so Pete is
1.5 stars
out of 5. Tyler, what say you?
I'm gonna have to go with 1 out of 5 stars.
Okay.
Mostly because it was not as entertaining as it could be, and it is not an entry level bad movie, fun movie. Like it's like you have to like already be aware of what a bad fun movie is. So
yeah.
It is funny though. Like there's like really funny parts, but it just doesn't come together enough to where like I could be like, "Oh, have you seen Double Down?" Like I'm
It's
gonna
no
imagine.
Room.
Yeah, it's not like, "Oh, have you seen The Room?" which everyone's heard of, but
Yeah.
so Double Down is an interesting. It's interesting that it exists in this reality. You know what I mean? Like it just like it's here and we know about it, and it made an impact on us because we made a whole damn episode about it.
That's the lesson of the story, kids. You know, your dreams can be reality. Look at Neil Breen.
But as a movie, though, like it sucks, dude.
Fucking blow, bro.
What about you, Joe?
I have to give this movie a 1 as well, because it's compared to Fateful Findings, it's just not. It just doesn't live up to that. It doesn't reach that bar.
It's just a bad movie.
Yeah, I found myself laughing way more in Fateful Findings than I did in this movie. And honestly, the whole narration thing and how long it dragged on for was like
droning. It was like homework.
It really made the movie.
Do you think
longer.
It's deliberate by Neil Breen to being this way?
I don't.
Especially in his later movies, because you said you laughed a lot in his later movies. Do you think that he like found his niche? Yeah.
He could have. He might be self-aware. The
idea of Neil Breen being self-aware is terrifying to me.
He's like, you know what? I've pigeonholed myself.
He understands now.
I understand my talents, the scope of my capabilities, and this is what I'm gonna make.
Yeah.
I kind of hope not. I kind of hope he's trying his hardest, and this is the best he can produce.
You want to celebrate the weirdness of the human condition rather than him trying to capitalize on it. I get that.
Yeah, I don't want to intentionally bad movie. You know, it takes away the fun. It's like finding out a ghost hunting show is faked.
Yeah, it
What?
takes away the authenticity.
You know,
The
it
shows
takes
are
away,
real.
or the finding out that like David Blaine has been faking it the whole time. It's
Don't you tell me that, Joseph. I believe.
no, I know. I'm saying like it would be like, oh,
I
well,
believe
I'm watching,
David Blaine.
I'm watching.
He is not
this,
of this plane.
but I know it's not real. What's happening? You know, like a prank show or something.
I would love if Neil Breen did a collab with Yorgos Lanthimos.
Oh my god.
For our listeners who may not know Yorgos, he did The Lobster, Killing of a Sacred Deer, and
Oh, okay.
Dogtooth. Did you do Dogtooth too?
I don't know.
I think
he
you-
did The Favorite.
Yeah, The Favorite. And he's got just a crazy writing style. Just I don't know.
What an odd pairing.
It'd be great to see like a real crazy person work with like an artist who's just does crazy stuff and somehow makes
twisted
crazy
pair.
movies.
That would be interesting, but I actually don't think Neil would work with him. I think he's so far up in his ass that he would think that he was too good for anyone, and that he is the emperor of his movie style.
I almost said that I disagree with you on that, but I think that if anybody who puts himself into a nude scene in the condition that Neil is physically, it has definitely an inflated sense of ego about himself. So I agree.
Yeah. What about Panos Cosmatos, another Greek filmmaker, instead of Yorgos?
Who's that? What did he make?
He did Mandy.
Oh yes. Fever
there you
dream of a Neil Breen movie.
You.
Me personally, I think he just has such a big ego that he can't work with anyone in a effective way.
Yeah, he fires anybody who challenges him.
Yeah, that's especially after watching Double Down, like you get that feeling because he considers himself holier than thou. He wears his emotions very much on his sleeve. So
Yeah.
Neil Breen,
Yep.
he's in his own ball game. He's in his own league, and no one's allowed to play.
He likes his water at 73 degrees exactly.
Any other thoughts, you guys, before wrapping up on this and moving on to the next segment?
I do not have anything else to add.
I went
to
through all my
this
notes.
Movie.
I'm tapped
No.
out on Neil.
The only thing I can say about Neil Breen is, I should say, the only thing else I could say about Double Down is that it is the very definition of a movie. You know, it's the movie length. You know,
It is a movie.
It's technically a movie. You can bank on that.
It is a dictionary definition of a movie, and you can take that as what you will.
There's video
All
and
right.
audio.
Yeah.
There is picture. It's in color.
There's scripts.
Maybe we don't know.
They're on location.
Yeah. All right. So I think that kind of concludes our discussion about Neil Breen's Double Down. I don't have anything to say.
I have something to say, not about the movie, but
Okay.
you guys want to with I move on?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was about to move on.
Okay, cool. I don't.
Let's move on to the next segment, which is Pete.
Oh, that's me. Yeah. So if you're a returning listener, then you're very well aware that we here at Middle Class Film Class have a strong distaste for Fubo TV. Distaste may be too weak of a word, but still.
F you.
Yeah. If you're
Bo.
F you, Bo.
if you're a MCFC faithful, and then you also know that without a single word or really any interaction at all, Pluto.tv has snatched our interest and become the next-gen streaming TV service of choice for this year podcast. So, and so far, I can't really think of anything bad to say about Pluto, except that they're so streamlined that even when I went on their website to try to write to their advertising department, it takes you immediately to This Old House on repeat. So they're all business. You want Fubo TV? Well, here, go to the website. You're instantly watching TV. They don't dick around. So it took a little bit to figure it out, but after searching with some help from Joseph, we found a place for the shameless begging. So I'm not going to read the letter verbatim. I'm just going to kind of go through some of the hot points. We have a consistent message between your service and our brand. We have tens of ravenous fans. Same business model. We both are free. We have henceforth denounced the people at Fubo TV, and we already have our allegiance to you. If you want to make this thing official, kick us down some subscriptions. But I don't. After I wrote that, I already sent the message off. I just realized that they don't really have subscriptions, so I don't know how this is going to work. But we're hoping to hear back from Pluto.tv.
Yeah. Do they have social media? Do they do anything?
You know what? I don't know. It's on my TV. I see it all the time. I talk about it to people.
Pluto TV. They have a Facebook.
That's their slogan. That's a weird slogan.
We have a Facebook.
Pluto TV. We have a Facebook. And then one other small order of business before we get to the Wheel of Destiny. But we are, just from the time that this show started recording until now, we have confirmation we will have an on-air caller next week.
Nice.
And it will be very fun, and it will be wholesome and heartfelt. So
no swearing.
Look, I don't know about that. I cannot guarantee. So we'll talk about that a little bit later or next week. But we will have a guest, not a guest host, but we're going to have a little small call-in segment for a recommendation from one of the fans.
Oh, yeah.
So
Devotees.
You want to go to the Wheel of Destiny?
Let's move on to the wheel.
All right, I've already erased Double Down from the wheel, Joe. And do you have a replacement?
Nope. Yeah, I do. My replacement for Double Down is Bad Lieutenant, Port of Call, New Orleans.
Oh, shit. Nice.
Nicolas Cage movie.
Beautiful.
Along with Eva Mendes, Val Kilmer, Exhibit,
Oh my god.
Jennifer Coolidge, Brad Dourif, Shea Wiggum, Michael Shannon, Fairuza Balk.
Fairuza Balk's in that?
Yep.
She was the chick from The Craft and also Return to Oz.
Yep.
Creepy ass movie.
I've never heard of this movie. I might have seen it, but I'll see it when I see it.
There is an original, well, not really an original, it's just like another movie, just with like the same name with Harvey Keitel.
It has roughly the same plot too, and Werner Herzog did this new one, right?
Yeah, he did. Yeah, directed by Werner Herzog, who says he refuses to admit that it is the same movie or
has anything to do with
relative at all. Yeah,
he's one of my favorite personalities in Hollywood right now. It's Werner Herzog.
Yeah,
he's so weird,
interesting dude. He makes documentaries. He's in other movies. He's in Rick and Morty. It's like he's got a weird.
Yeah, he's like all over the place. He's in. He plays an on-screen part in the new Star Wars that's coming out too.
Yeah, I saw him in the trailer. I was like, what the fuck?
He's the bad guy in Jack Reacher.
Is he?
Yeah, he's like a character that talks about how you have to do anything to survive in prison. That's why I bit my own 2 fingers off just to prove that I'm crazy in prison. And you're like, what the fuck, Werner? Out of nowhere.
Yeah. So yeah,
I'm looking forward to that.
Bad Lieutenant.
Okay, so I'm going to recap the other choices we have on the wheel here. For Joseph, we have The Machinist and From Beyond, as well as the wild card, which is Bad Lieutenant, Port of Call, New Orleans. Tyler has Mad Max, Fury Road, and Escape from the New York, and his wild card pick is George of the Jungle. Is that correct?
Yes, but
or Escape from New York, the wild card?
I think Escape from New
Okay.
York was the wild card.
All right, and then for my picks, I have Annihilation and Stoker. Alrighty, ready for the spin?
Oh yeah,
What happens if we land on Annihilation?
we're watching.
We're watching it. Yeah.
Okay. Good spin this time.
Is it Annihilation?
It's Annihilation.
Oh my-
It's Annihilation.
Are you
I swear to
kidding me?
God.
Wow.
And I had it on a completely different spot this time because I'm rotating it as I
you need to
yelled this
stop
out.
calling it before we spin. 'Cause
Yeah, next time we're gonna call a movie that's not even on the wheel.
Well, I love Annihilation, so I can't wait to watch it.
All right, so I guess we're talking about my movie next week, Annihilation. Really excited about that. One of the newer movies on the wheel. Written and directed, or I guess just directed by Alex Garland. Super exciting movie, kind of sci-fi drama. Doesn't really fit into any super great categories with an ending, which is just phenomenal. So looking forward to breaking that one down with you guys next week.
Very H.P. Lovecraft.
Also, guys, follow us on Facebook. We've got a nice big surge of Facebook followers this week, so we really appreciate that. If you are listening to this, like and subscribe on iTunes, Spotify, wherever you find your podcasts, and recommend it to some friends. It means a lot. Facebook.com/MCFC podcast, and write us at our Gmail, mcfcpodcast@gmail.com. If you send us a letter, most likely we're going to read it on air.
Please subscribe. I quit my job.
Please, I need the money. I need it now. All right, thanks guys for listening. We will see you next week when we watch Annihilation.
See you later.
See ya.
See you later, folks.